Hi guys, we're just doing our kettlebell flow. So you're going to need a lightweight. I'm using a 6 kilogram. So just come and line your backs. So we're just going to start with connection, posture and breath, but without any weight, as usual. But have your kettlebell nearby. Okay, so you can see me alright, good. So feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to work on our connection first of all. So we want to feel nice and connected underneath both our feet equally, underneath our lumbosacral junction, TL junction, both shoulder blades and the back of the head. So if we start back at the feet, what we want to do is just shift the weight from side to side. And then we want to just pause when we feel like that weight is equal from left to right foot. Then you're going to think about where you're feeling that connection. Are you feeling it under the outside of the foot, or are you feeling it on the inside of the foot? So if you're feeling it on the outside, you're going to try and bring that inner arch down towards the floor by pushing the big toe into the floor, keeping the knees pointed to the ceiling, keeping the ankles neutral. If you're feeling it more on the inside of the foot, you're going to try and pull the outside of the foot down towards the floor, but keeping that big toe connection. Again, keeping the knees pointed to the ceiling, ankles neutral. So after we've got our foot connection, move your way up to your lumbosacral junction. And what I want you to do now is you're just going to start to peel your spine away from the floor, taking your pelvis into an anterior tilt. And then you're going to reverse peel, taking the pelvis into a posterior tilt. I'm just going to go anterior and posterior, forwards and backwards. And then I want you to just pause in the midpoint between the two end ranges, where your lower back should be flat on the floor. You shouldn't be able to get your hand underneath your back, but you shouldn't be caved into the floor, and your lumbosacral junction will feel nice and connected. So then you're going to move up to your TL junction. Your ribs and pelvis want to be like, imagine they're like the pages of a book. So we want the pages to be closed, we don't want the pages to be open. So we're going to try and bring the ribs and pelvis down into connection, like we're closing the pages of a book, so that the pelvis and the rib cage are parallel with each other. And if you put your hands on your ribs shouldn't feel like they're sticking up into the air. So if we've got the open book, we'll have rib flaring and lumbar extension. So now we should have better connection underneath the TL junction as well. So shoulder blades, they want to be equal from side to side. So just shift the weight from side to side until you feel like you've got more balance between the right and left shoulder. And shoulders want to be neutral. So let's try and get our shoulders out of this anterior and elevated position by pulling the shoulders back down towards the mat, externally rotating and depressing the shoulder blade down towards the back pocket on the same side, feeling the muscles round the back and underneath the shoulder switching on. And then I'm going to move up to the head. So the back of the head wants to push straight down towards the floor. What we don't want is to go into neck extension. We don't want to tuck the chin in. The head's going to go straight back down. Feel those muscles at the front of the neck come alive. And now should have our connection. So next we're going to get our breath in the right order. So put one hand on your chest, one hand on your tummy. And we're just going to think about getting the breath in the right order first of all. So when you take your breath in, you're going to feel the hand on the tummy lift. And as you breathe out, the hand on the tummy is going to lower. So just focusing on your breath, focusing on getting your breath in the right order, focusing on the movement happening through the abdomen, not the chest. So the chest doesn't want to move anywhere when you're breathing in and out, that wants to stay still. So it should be inflating around your tummy and your sides as you're breathing in, and then as you're breathing out, your tummy's going to sink towards the floor. So just do a couple more of these breaths, making sure that we've got that full connection still, so both feet, lumbosacral junction, TL junction, both shoulder blades and back of the head. Okay, so now we've got our breath in the right order, we're going to think about the 360 breath, so put your hands around your waist, and we want to feel that expansion the whole way round. So as you're breathing in, you should feel that expansion all the way around, 360 degrees, so those muscles around the abdominal wall are going to be pushing your hands away. So if you're struggling to feel that, cough. Feel that expansion as you cough. Use that to let your brain know where the muscles are, to wake your muscles up a little bit. And now think about those muscles expanding outwards 360 degrees, equally from front to back and from side to side. So if there's anywhere that you're struggling with, either one side more than the other, or you're feeling you're breathing more into the front rather than the back, try and focus on the area that you're not breathing into as well. Give it a poke, give it a prod, cough again if you need to. And visualize the muscles. So think about the muscles, visualize the muscles, and feel the muscles. Just do a couple more breaths. Okay, so once we've got our 360 breath, we're going to think about the brace. So the brace is an outward push, it's not a clench, it's not a tense, and you're not pulling your belly button towards your spine. So you're going to breathe 360 degrees with that outward expansion, and then before you take your breath out, you're going to create your outward push like you're imagining that you're about to fart. And try not to let the muscles completely relax as you're breathing out. So keeping that activation of the abdominal wall as we're breathing in and out. And it's a nice smooth cylinder, so if you feel your abdomen, you shouldn't be feeling any lumps and bumps. It should be a nice smooth cylinder all the way around. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, through pursed lips. Imagine you're blowing through a straw. Just do a couple more. Okay, so grab your kettlebell. So at any point, if you need a little rest, just put the kettlebell to one side and just carry on without the weight in your arm. We're going to do one arm completely through the movement sequence, and then we're going to go back down into 3-1 supine and then do the other arm. So just get the kettlebell in one hand, put it up to the ceiling. Make sure your wrist's nice and straight in a neutral position, so your fingertips pointed to the ceiling. And then you're just going to start to do some rotations with that kettlebell, so with the shoulder. So we're rotating around that shoulder joint. So external rotation, internal rotation. Just going to take my watch off a second. Or turn it inside because it's just digging in a little bit. So keep going with that. So just in this supine position at first. Feel that rotation in the shoulder. and then pause in a neutral position. So we're not going to be internally rotated, we're not going to be fully externally rotated, so just where it feels neutral, and then try and reach towards the ceiling. So we're pushing that arm up towards the ceiling, so this is a scapular push, and then bring it back down. And then push, and back down. Push, back down. Just keep doing that. Okay, I'm going to start now to do some single leg lifts. So alternating the right and left foot. Like I say, at any point if you need a little rest with the kettlebell, that's fine. Make sure you're keeping the wrist nice and neutral. And then just bring both legs up, so we're going into that double leg lift. So lift and lower, control what's happening through the pelvis. Try not to let the pelvis go into that anterior tilt and that lumbar extension. And then just bring the legs up into your 3-month supine position. Maybe need a little bit of a rest, so just give that shoulder a little shake off. And then go back into it. So again, you're just going to start to punch the arm up to the ceiling and back down. Punch, back down. So I don't want anyone to overstrain, so just take as many little breaks as you need to. Or if you need to drop the weight, then that's fine. Do some rotations with that shoulder. And then just have a little rest, have a little shake off. Bring your legs back up. And I'm just going to take my watch off actually because it's just digging in. Just going to put that to the side. Okay. So now we're going to start to roll onto our side. So you're just going to lift your head slightly and you're going to look to the direction. You're going to keep looking at the kettlebell this time, so you're not going to look to the direction that you're turning. And then we're going to roll back. And roll onto your side and roll back. So even though we're looking at the kettlebell, you want to make sure you've got your Lego body. So shoulders and pelvis are moving at the same time. Make sure we've got our nice straight spine. And then you're going to roll onto your side. So get stacked up on top of that shoulder. And then arms up into the air and just do some shoulder rotations again. Nice straight spine. Okay, have a little rest. Give your arm a little shake off. And then when you're ready, grab it up again, up into the air, and we're just going to roll up into our lower oblique sit. Keep the kettlebell up, and then just bring the hip off the floor. Keep looking up at the kettlebell. Just hold for a few more seconds. And then lower down. Again, just have a little rest with the shoulder if you need to. Bring the kettlebell back up. Come up into your high oblique sit. And again, we're going to lift. Try and keep your wrists nice and straight. Don't let your wrist collapse backwards. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower the hip down. Bring the kettlebell down again. So I think this is just going to be one of those ones where we need a little bit of a rest every now and again. Bring the kettlebell back up into your high oblique sit. So then from the high oblique sit, what we're going to do is bring that leg round into a tripod position. Keep looking at the kettlebell, and then from tripod, come into high kneel, and back down into tripod. Up into high kneel, and back down into tripod. So just do that. High kneel to tripod, keep looking at the kettlebell. When it's over your head. Again, if you need a little rest, give your shoulder a little rest. I don't want anyone to overdo it. So if anyone needs to have a rest or drop the weight down, that's fine. Just do a couple more. Okay, so I'm going to let you bring the kettlebell to your shoulder now. So we're going to just have a little rest with that side. Bring it up to your front rack position, or just at your collarbone. And then we're just going to go from that high kneel position, making sure the pelvis is level with the floor, neutral lower back, and just stand. Again, if you need to just do this without weight, not a problem. So we're just going to go from high kneel to stand, stand to high kneel. I think I might actually get myself a 2 kilogram kettlebell at some point, because 6 is certainly too heavy. So remember, nice and steady. If you need to do a couple without the kettlebell, just put it down. Don't feel like you have to do the whole thing with the kettlebell. So up and down, nice and slow. Keeping that pelvis level with the floor. Making sure the knee doesn't collapse in, the pelvis doesn't shoot to the side. And then just whenever you feel like you can grab your kettlebell again, you're going to grab it. Just do a couple more. Okay, bring the kettlebell down, so you're going to stand up. Bring the kettlebell back up. Keep looking at the kettlebell. And then just whenever you feel like you can grab your kettlebell again, you're going to grab it. And we're gonna find our neutral pelvis, neutral lower back. Make sure we've got a nice long upper back and just start to hinge your hips. So try and keep your shins vertical, and we're pushing the bum backwards, keeping that neutral pelvis, neutral lower back. So nice and steady, nice and slow, so that we can really feel what's happening in the lower back and pelvis. Just do a couple more. Bring the kettlebell up into your goblet position. Find your neutral pelvis, neutral lower back. And then we're slowly going to lower down. And come back up. So, up and down in your goblet squat, keeping lengthened through your upper back. Again, if you need to put the kettlebell down at any point, that's fine. Just do a couple more. Put the kettlebell up into the air again, if you can. You can do it without, and we're just going to slide the hand down the opposite leg, or the same side as the arm, and slowly down and up. So keep looking up at the kettlebell, don't take your eyes off. Kettlebell stays straight up towards the ceiling. Just do one more. Have a little rest again. So from this position, we're then going to take the leg back again and slowly down into the high kneel. Pop the kettlebell into the air. Hang on, I've got my kettlebells and my high knees mixed up, so go back into your standing position, take the other leg back. Whichever leg you feel, whichever leg you were coming up on before, go back on that leg. Getting all confused now. Kettlebell into the air, and then we're going to go back into our tripod position. And then up. So tripod to high kneel. So if you're holding it in your left hand, your left leg will need to be forwards. I've confused everyone, sorry about that. So left leg forwards, left arm. If your right arm leg's forwards, it's in your right arm. So coming down into your tripod position and back up, down, just do one more if you can. Then we're going to put the hand down to the floor into your tripod, take that front leg back into your high oblique sit, lower down into your lower oblique sit, and then onto your side and onto your back. And then put the kettlebell down a second. And I'm going to turn around so I'm in the right position. And then we're going to go and do the opposite side now. Sorry for confusing everyone with my sides. I'm not good with lefts and rights. Okay, so make sure you've got your connection. And we're and just start and do some rotations with that side. So just rotating, feeling that internal rotation, external rotation. And then we're going to start to reach for the ceiling and down. So punching up towards the ceiling. Just do a few more with this side. You should feel like you've had a shoulder workout tomorrow for sure. Okay, so now we're going to do some single leg lifts. Again, whenever you need to have a little rest with that weight, just put it down to the floor. So single leg lifts, making sure this is just coming from the hips. And then we're going to go into double leg lifts. So lifting up, controlling that pelvis and lower back. Lifting and lowering. And then bring your legs up into your 3-month supine. Give your shoulder a little rest, so put the kettlebell down, give it a shake off. And then put the kettlebell into the air again, and again just do some rotations. Anytime you need a rest, just have a little rest. And then punch towards the ceiling. Just do a couple more. Okay, hands up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to start to roll. Keep looking at the kettlebell. And then roll back. And roll again, so shoulders and pelvis moving at the same time. Try and keep your wrists straight. Make sure we have a nice straight spine when we land on the side. Just do a couple more. And then come onto your side, so stacked on your shoulder. Have a little rest again, making sure that the shoulder's not pushing forward, so we're right on top of that shoulder. Give the arm a little shake. Make sure you've got your straight spine. Pop the kettlebell into the air again, and we're just going to rotate that shoulder. So if your neck does get a little bit sore when you turn your head, just put it into a neutral position again. But just be careful you don't drop the kettlebell on your head. Okay, from the sideline position, we're going to roll up into our lower oblique sit. And then lift the hips off the floor. And just hold that position. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, have a rest. Give your shoulder a shake off. Obviously, still be working on your breath at the same time, so that's really going to help this. So 360-degree breathing. kettlebell up into high oblique sit, and then lift the legs, the bum off the floor, holding that in the air. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, again, have another rest. Give your shoulder a shake off. And then we're going to be going from high kneel and high oblique sit into tripod. So bringing that leg round up into a tripod position, and then from tripod into high kneel, back down into tripod. Keeping the rib cage and pelvis in connection. Just do a couple more, and then you're going to have another little rest with the shoulder. Bring it down. Give your shoulder a shake off. Go back into your high kneel. Bring the kettlebell up to your chest or your collarbone. So we're not too narrow with the foot, so foot out to the side, pelvis level with the floor, neutral pelvis, neutral lower back, and then we're going to stand. And again, just do as many as you can with the weight, with like a good position, and then as soon as you feel like you need to, just put the weight down. I'm going to have a little rest from the kettlebell for a second. Keep going, just a few more. Ooh, losing my balance. Again, we want to go nice and steady, nice and slow, keeping the pelvis level with the floor the whole time, not letting the pelvis shoot to the side, not letting the knee collapse. Just do another couple. And then you're going to come up, grab the kettlebell again. So we're going to do our deadlifts and our squats again. So neutral lower back, neutral pelvis, upper back nice and long. And we're going to hinge the hip, bum back, and back up. Nice and flat through the upper back. Keep your neck nice and long, don't let your neck extend. Just do another couple of these. And then bring the kettlebell up to your chest. Find your neutral again. And then slowly down. Keeping nice and long through the upper back. And slowly up. Just in your own time. Make sure you keep in control of that pelvis, so just go really, really slow so you can correct any little deviations from neutral that happen. Make sure you're lengthening through the upper back. Just do a couple more. And then pop the kettlebell up into the air again. And we're going to slide down the opposite leg. Keep looking at the ceiling, so the kettlebell, so you don't drop the kettlebell on your head. So you're basically just pushing your bum out to the side, sliding your hand down your leg, and rotating your body at the same time. And then back into the middle. Just do a couple more. Bring that kettlebell down, have a rest. Before we go back down into our high kneel. So I'm going to get it right this time. So before I was on my right leg forward, so I'm going to take my left leg back. I think that's right anyway, yeah. Okay, so arm up into the air again. And then we're going to rotate it down into tripod. And then up again. Tripod. Up again. So just do a few more of these. Okay, keep that kettlebell into the air, take that hand down to the floor, bring that top leg back, and then go down into your lower oblique sit, onto your side, and onto your back. So, before we finish up, we're just going to go through one or two, depending on time, cycles on each side. So take it back to the other hand, and we're just going to go through. So find your neutral pelvis, neutral lower back. Take the kettlebell up into the air, on the opposite side now. Create your 360 breath. Bring your legs up into the air into your 3-month supine. Hands up into the air. Lift your head slightly. You're going to roll onto your side, and you're going to go straight into your lower oblique sit. Okay, keep looking at the kettlebell. Up into your high oblique sit. Up into your tripod. So bring your leg round. Keep looking at the ceiling, at the kettlebell. Up into your high kneel. And then we're going to stand. So you can bring it down to your shoulder if you want to, or you can try and keep it up into the air. Then you're going to do a squat. And then take the kettlebell up into the air again. Bring that leg back into your high kneel. Hand down into your tripod. Bring your leg back into your high oblique sit. Down into your low oblique sit. Onto your side and onto your back. And then put the kettlebell down. And we'll just do the same on the other side. And then, let's see what time it is. And then we should be about ready to finish then. So, get the kettlebell into the opposite hand. Create your 360-degree breath. And your brace, and you're going to lift your legs up into the air. Hands up into the sky. Lift your head slightly, and then roll onto your side, pushing the kettlebell up into the air into your lower oblique sit. Up Up into your high oblique sit. Bring that back leg round into your tripod. Keep looking at the kettlebell. Up into your high kneel. And then you're going to stand. I'm going to put my kettlebell on my shoulder and go into my squat. And then back up. Hand up into the air. Leg back down into your high kneel. You're going to rotate. Hang on 1 second, my battery's with me, it's going to die. I'm going to turn that off. Okay. Into your high kneel, into your tripod. Round into your high oblique sit, low oblique sit, and then into your 3-month supine. Okay, so that's today's session finished. A little bit tougher today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.